Welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I'd talk about my recent experience with trying out digital minimalism, um, and specifically how it's a lot harder than I originally thought. Back in December, I found myself really being on my phone constantly and I know I was in seasonal depression and didn't help anything, but I also didn't have the energy to do anything else, so it was kind of like catch 22. But yeah, I just felt myself feeling miserable, and I was comparing myself to a lot of um, things online, other creators, or imagining a lifestyle better than what I currently had. And so I was just really unhappy. So I decided to read Cal Newport's book, Digital Minimalism, and it was a really good book. The first half of it kind of just describes how um, the internet and our apps and all of our technology today is really meant to keep us online as long as possible, so that these companies can potentially get more money from us. And the way they do that is really scientific. Like in the beginning, I think it was Facebook. They had notifications in like a nice blue color, like a little dot that would notify you in blue that you had notifications, but no one ever really checked it. So they changed that color to red, and we saw like an immediate uptick in people checking notifications and staying on longer. Our phones are basically a miniature slot machine, and it gives us the same dopamine hits as gambling does. So then the book also challenges you to do like a digital detox, but he doesn't call it a detox because in his mind, a detox only lasts for like a short period of time. And this is like he challenges you to go a full month without anything that's unnecessary. So, like um, phone calls, unless it's like an emergency, um, texting, emails, Facebook, all the social media apps, online shopping, basically anything that's not intentional. Um, so when you just like jump on your phone to waste time, or you're bored and don't have anything to do, you jump on your phone instead. Anything like that, he tells you to get rid of. So yeah, I just felt that the amount of time I was spending on my phone could have been spent on productive activities, either like growing this channel or like artwork, something that is slow and more meaningful. I also feel like I was comparing myself, like I said, to other content creators, which was making me more unhappy. And then also, as an autistic person, I feel like being on my phone can add to the sense of inertia where I just don't have the energy to switch tasks, because transitioning from one thing to another is really hard for me in general. And I feel like when you get trapped on your phone, it makes it even harder to jump tasks into something that you should be doing, or even just something that isn't going to rot your brain. So before I went into this challenge of going 30 days of no phone or just like technology that wasn't necessary, I made a list of what I definitely wasn't going to check, and that included social media apps. So I don't have Twitter, so I mostly have Facebook, Pinterest, which I consider social media because I it's addicting for me. All the photos that I see, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube was kind of like in between because I also use it for doing this. So it's kind of a gray area. Um, but I also added to my list no Google browsing, shopping on Amazon, um, YouTube if I'm doom scrolling and not doing something intentional. Also, just like wandering on Etsy because it's similar to Pinterest for me. I also made a list of what was okay to check, and for me, that was YouTube if I was using it for video editing and uploading, or if I was watching some of the creators that like really bring me joy. Like there's a handful that I don't feel are distracting, and I actually feel better after watching them. So I kept them on there. Same with Substack for posting my weekly newsletter. Um, there's a few articles on there that I read, and for me, that's an intentional use of my time, so I kept that. I kept Facebook Marketplace because we were in the middle of deciding to move, so I kept that so that I could sell stuff. So some of the other things he considers like a no-go are emails, but I don't find those distracting because I'm never on my email. I just get on there to like delete the spam, and I feel like had I left the spam on there, it would have been worse than like not checking it. So that was like an okay thing for me to do. And, like same with like texting and phone calls. I hate being on the phone. I hate texting, so those aren't issues for me. Um, so I kept those. The other thing that he says to do is to not just have a list of what you're not going to check and what you're okay to use, but you should also have a plan of what you're going to replace your screen time with. Otherwise, you're going to end up bored and checking these things. So for me, that was going to be exercise, decluttering, reading, um, daily walks, um, journaling, and then adding creative hobbies back in that I haven't done in a while, like sketching, painting, sewing, working with clay, all the things that I have been meaning to do but haven't found time to do them because I'm usually on the phone or doing something else. One of the tips he suggests is to like delete the apps that you're taking off your list off your phone so that you can't access them. Just like delete them completely until your 30 days is up. And also to keep your phone out of the bedroom. So that way when you're wake up, it's like roll over and check things without thinking about it. And he also suggests to leave your phone at home if you're going out and about, um, or like leave it in the car so that you are fully engaged in the moment instead of worrying about texting so and so or like worrying about your phone. So that was my intention going into it. And I plan to start this the 1st of January. And did not go so well. I think in January I only lasted, I want to say like 4 days. Let me check my calendar because I kept a count of how many days I went. So January I went 7 days. 7 days without my phone, and after that I caved in so fast. And the reason for that was we had decided like end of December, early January that we were going to start looking for a new place to live. And so even though I was trying not to be on my phone, we were also trying to look at new properties. So I found myself looking at listings, and then when we found listings that we were interested in, then I found myself um, looking at the layouts and seeing if our furniture is going to fit, and then looking for ideas on Pinterest, which I said I wasn't going to do, to see how I would lay out each room and put the furniture and what we would need to buy or get rid of. So it crumbled fast and it got out of control because then we found this place that we were going to move to. And so then it was like, okay, we're doing this. So now I just like totally gave up because I knew that once, until we moved in here and got settled, I was just going to continue doing those things. And then once I decided, like, I'm already on Pinterest and Facebook Marketplace looking at things, then it was like super easy to add back in Pinterest or Instagram, YouTube, and all the things I said I was going to get rid of. The other thing that I did not do, which I should have, was delete the apps from my phone, like I just said. Instead, I thought I could be clever and just like take them off the main screen and hide them in like the screens you have to flip through and find them. I thought that would be enough. But once I started to like check it, then I just like kept going back to it. So that was why I failed the first time. The second time I tried this experiment was February, when I had to like finalized, okay, I know the layout. I didn't have that urge to like keep looking for ideas on Pinterest, so I thought February 1st would be a good day to start it. And in February, I lasted 21 days. So a lot better than the first month, but I still could not get to a full 30 days. And the reasons I didn't get to there was, again, I didn't delete the apps off my phone. Um, but I also did not have a plan to replace screen time. So, like in the first 21 days of the month, um, I wasn't worried about being on my phone or wanting to be on it because we were moving. So I was super busy packing, um, selling stuff, like decluttering, cleaning, moving, and like setting up the whole house. But then once we got in here and we actually finished settling in, then I found myself with nothing to replace that time with. And in the before we moved, I was reading quite a bit in January and February, but during the move, I just couldn't concentrate, so I didn't really read as much. And so once we got settled, I wasn't in the mind frame of wanting to read anymore, at least not yet. So I didn't even have that as a replacement, and I wasn't ready to start any hobbies yet because I was still in like this mindset of like, let's get settled. Um, but I found myself getting bored and reverting back to using my phone quite a bit. Um, so that's why I failed the second time. Um, but I also noticed some things along the way that were really interesting. Like when I was when I was doing a really good job of not being on my phone and replacing it with like reading or going outside for a walk or like a hike or something, as soon as I would put the book down or like get back in the house, it would be like, ooh, I need a treat. Let me just pull my phone out for a second. And then I'd have to remind myself, no, you're not doing that. Like, you have to find something else because it's not like a reward. Like, the point is to like stay off of it all the time. But it's like, okay, I spent an hour reading. Now I get a break. And so that habit was really hard to break. And I still struggle with that. And then also, I found myself like on the nights, I have a really hard time sleeping sometimes. But I feel like in the middle of the night, I would wake up and just like this really strong urge to get on my phone. And that was like really, really hard to get over. And for a little while, I was able to force myself to like push through it. But like if I wake up at 10 and I'm up till like 3 in the morning, it's really hard to just like lay there when your mind's like in overdrive, wanting to like research something or like just sometimes I use my phone to get these thoughts out of my head just to like numb it with like either looking at photos or if I have something specific on my mind, looking that up so I don't have to like think about it anymore. Um, which I think is good and bad. But yeah, that was one of the things that I really struggled with. So yeah, I've tried it twice now, have not been successful to get to 30 days. I would like to try it again, but I'm not sure when I will do that. I don't find myself wanting to be on my phone as much, and when I do get on there to check like Instagram especially, I feel disappointed in the lack of like dopamine hits I get. Just because like it's just a lot of it is just noise lately. And so that has been kind of a push for me to naturally get off my phone is like I don't really want to be on it anyways. And when I do get on it, I don't find that same enjoyment that I used to. Um, so hopefully that will like kind of naturally get me off my phone. And now that the weather's getting nicer, and we're going outside more, hopefully I'll find more activities to keep me busy and not thinking about that. But yeah, I do want to try it again, but it was way harder than I thought. When I went into this, I was like, I can do it, no problem. I'll probably struggle like for a couple days and then I won't think about it. And it was really hard. Like the first couple days, it was really easy because you're like excited about it, and then after the excitement wears off, it's like you immediately go back to bad habits. So yeah, it's if you have done this, congratulations. I'm very impressed because it's hard. I think for right now, I'm good with my phone usage. I feel like it's fairly balanced. I'm reading a ton, going outside on daily walks. I've started exercising again, and so that's taken up a lot of my time. And then soon I want to start doing like more journaling. I want to like maybe try out watercoloring or painting. I used to really enjoy painting and haven't done that. So I want to add more activities and get together with friends and just do like fun outdoor activities now that we can. So I think that'll help a lot. But yeah, it's hard. And if I do start to notice myself doom scrolling again and getting back into those bad habits, I will probably try it again and this time actually delete the apps from my phone and have an actual plan to replace this time and like schedule like my time each day of what I'm going to be doing. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have also been thinking about lessening your screen time, um, I think just acknowledging that is a great thing, and that taking little steps to decrease it is really awesome. If you decide to go on your own digital minimalism journey, I think that's great. Definitely read Cal Newport's book. Definitely recommend reading that. And if you have done one of these detoxes from digital media, I'd love to hear your tips on um, how you got through it and like what really helped you, because I think I could definitely benefit from that. And I think anyone else who's interested in doing the same thing also benefit from your tips. So please leave your comments below. And thank you for watching. And see you next week.